Hello dear students. In the last class, we studied about the morphology of root. We studied the general characteristics of roots and then we studied their modification. Today we will study about another part of the plant which I am holding. What is it? Yes, it is stem. So let's study about the stem. Let's first study about the general characteristics of the stem. Then we will correlate those characters with this part, this plant which I am holding, and then we will correlate it with the diagram. So these are the general characteristics of the stem. First is stem always arise from the plumule part of the embryo. In last class I told you that in the embryo there are two main parts. One is plumule, other is radicle. The radicle gives rise to root, whereas plumule gives rise to shoot, and the stem is the main part of the shoot. So the stems arise from the plumule part of the embryo. Next, stem is always positively phototropic, which means it will always move in the direction of the light. But it is negatively geotropic, which means the stem will move away from the gravitation force. Then stem is also negatively hydrotropic. It moves away from the direction of the water. Now next is stems always show exogenous branching. If you see this plant, you can see the branching is there, and branching is always towards outside. It will move away from the central axis. Okay, so it is exogenous branching. Then there is always the presence of nodes and internodes in the stem. You can see such clear nodes. These are the nodes. This is a node and this is internode. Likewise node, node, and this is internode. So internode is the area between two nodes. So these two are nodes and this is internode. Okay. So stem always will have the presence of nodes and internodes. Presence of leaves. Stems will always have some type of leaf. It may be the foliage leaves, or it may have some scaly leaves or fleshy leaves, but leaves will be present. Then next is presence of adventitious buds. There is always small buds present. So these buds will give rise to a new branch. So at the node area, there will always be the bud, which are called as adventitious buds. So presence of adventitious buds are always there in the stem, which helps in branching. Then if we come to function, there are so many functions of the stem, because all the upper part of the plant, that is shoot part, stem is holding them. It has got leaves, so it will help in performance of the photosynthesis through leaves. Then the main function of the stem is conduction. It conducts the water and minerals. Also, it helps in transportation of food. So it will conduct the water from the root towards the leaves, and then it will also help in transportation of the food from the leaves to the other part of the body of the plant. So that is the main function. But apart from that, there are so many other functions, like it holds all the important organs of the plant, which help in different functions. So stems have very varied function. And also I will tell you about the modifications of the stems. They are so much modified, and as a result they perform so many functions. So I showed you this twig having the stem. Let us see it with the help of diagram also. So this is a typical plant having a stem. Stem has got nodes, and this part is internode. Then at the node the leaves will arise. Then there can be two types of buds. The buds which are arising from the axil, they are called as axillary buds, and sometimes the terminal buds are also there. This is a terminal bud. Okay, this is a terminal bud. So there are buds. So it will always have the leaves, foliage leaves or scaly leaves. So these are the general characteristics of the stem. Next we'll study about the different types of the stem. Now let's study the different types of the stems. So we can categorize all the stems. In fact, we can say these are all stem modifications. So we can categorize them into three main categories: underground stems, subaerial stems and aerial stems. What does it mean? Underground stems means these are the stems which are not growing above the soil. They are growing under the soil, but they are stems. Why are they stems? Because they are showing all the properties of stems. We will study them. Then these are subaerial stems. Subaerial stems means they are aerial, but at some point of the time they touch the ground. Either they are under the ground and then they come up, or they are up and then they touch the ground. So they have the connection with the ground at regular interval. Okay. And these are the aerial stems which are always above the soil. So these are three types of stem modifications. So we will study their details one by one. So let us first take about the underground stems. Generally people confuse them with root. If I show you this thing, what is this? Potato. Is this a stem or a root? Because it is growing under the ground. So we consider it as a root. But morphologically, it's not a root. It's a stem. Likewise, if I show you this is arvi or tapioca. This is also a stem. It grows under the ground. So why are they called stem? Why we don't call them as root? Because they are showing all the properties of stem. What are they? They have got nodes and internodes. You can see these are nodes. These are internodes. Okay. And they have got the leaves. These structures, these are scaly leaves. You can just take it out. So these structures which you just scrap out, these are the scaly leaves. And they've got the buds. At the nodes you can see there are adventitious buds. So these are not the root. These are the stem. So let us study the different types of the stem. First is underground stem. So there are four types of the underground stem modifications. They are, number one is tuber. For example, in case of potato, this is a tuber where the stem is swollen and underground. Why this is called as stem, not root? Whereas in sweet potato, we studied it was a root modification. Why this is considered as stem? Because this potato, though it appears to be a root just like a sweet potato, but it shows all the properties of stem. It has got nodes and internodes. There are small scars which are called as nodes or eyes. They are nodes, and the space between two scars is called internode. So it has got nodes and internodes, which is the characteristics of stem. Then the new potato, this is quite old. It has got the scaly leaves. So it has got leaves, and when the conditions become favorable on these eyes, it starts developing the adventitious buds. So that is also a stem modification. So this is a stem modification, that is tuber. Then second type of underground stem is rhizome. This is ginger. Ginger is again a stem because it also has got nodes and internodes. But how it is different? It is different because it shows branching and it grows horizontally. It has got nodes and internode. It also has got scaly leaves. You can just scrap off the structure which is the leaf. Okay. And it has got buds. These are buds which will grow into more branches. Okay. So this is rhizome. It is an underground stem which grows horizontally. Then this one. Third is corn, tapioca, arabi. So this is similar to ginger, but it grows vertically downward. It grows horizontally. It grows vertically. It also has got nodes and internode. It also has got scaly leaves and the adventitious buds. So this is also a stem modification. Then bulb. You all are aware. In case of this is onion. Onion is again a stem modification. This part is a stem modification. Here it has got scaly leaves. Okay. So when the stem is a very bulb-like structure having lots of food in the fleshy leaves, it is called as bulb. So onion and garlic, these are the examples of bulb. So these are 4 types of underground stems. Next we come to subaerial stems. Subaerial stems, again you can see there are 4 types of subaerial stems I have mentioned. First is runner, then sucker, stolon and offset. Runner. The grass is a runner. You must have observed grass. It has got nodes, nodes, nodes and internodes. Whenever it touches the ground at the node, it will develop the roots. You can see such roots are produced. So as a result, this will grow very fast. So this is again a stem modification. Okay. So next is sucker. Sucker, for example, in case of mint, pudina. I had pudina. Yeah. So this is pudina or mint. This is again a stem modification. Whenever what happens, it grows underground and after some time it will come up. Just like this chrysanthemum is also there. You can see here. It will grow underground and then it will come up as a new plant. So this part is called as the sucker. Sucker. It will grow underground and then it will come up. Okay. Whereas in case of strawberry, I don't have a strawberry plant, but in strawberry what happens? This will grow and then it will touch the ground. The sucker grows inside and comes up, whereas stolon grows up and bends down and touches the soil. Okay, so that is the example of stolon, strawberry. Next is offshoot. Offshoot I also don't have because it's a water plant. It's just like a runner. The runner of aquatic plants, aquatic condition is called as the offset. For example, in case of water hyacinth, just like the grass, it will have a stem at the point of the touch with the water. It will develop the root up and the foliar upside on the upper side, and it grows very fast. So these all are basically meant for vegetative propagation. They are also meant for vegetative propagation, but their main function is storing the food and then vegetative propagation. Whereas here they don't store food, but they propagate the plant very fast in the favorable conditions. Okay. Now we come to the aerial stems. In aerial stems means they are totally above the soil. So normal stem we know, but what are the other modifications? Then first modification in aerial stems are tendrils. You must have seen tendrils. Here, it's a grapevine where some branches, they don't grow leaves. In fact, they grow some spring-like structures to hold, to support the stem. So these are called tendrils. They are stem modifications. So instead of growing a branch, sometimes these spring-like structures are there to hold the plant. So they are called as tendrils. Then next are thorn. Thorn also I've got. This is bougainvillea plant. So instead of a branch, there grows very pointed structure which is called as a thorn. So thorn is also a stem modification, whereas spine is a leaf modification, thorn is a stem modification. Okay, so this is thorn. Thorn in bougainvillea, in citrus plant, pomegranate. So they have got pointed structure. What is their function? Their function is basically to protect the plant from herbivorous animals, so that herbivorous animals don't eat them completely. So they protect themselves from the herbivorous animals. So this is thorn. Next is phylloclade. Phylloclade, cactus. So this is a cactus. You can see this is a complete stem modification where this plant performs the photosynthesis. They don't require leaves. Leaves are modified into the spine-like structures. See, I will show you a very important phenomenon. See, these days it's a rainy season. So even the spines, they are performing photosynthesis. They are green in color. You can see this. So when the conditions become very hot, these foliage-like structure will turn into the spines completely. Okay. So this is phylloclade. Phylloclade means when the stem becomes fleshy and green in structure and has got nodes and internodes. As in the case of cactus, that stem modification is called as phylloclade. Then I will show you another structure. This seems to be a leaf, a branch having many leaves, but these are not leaves. These are also stem modifications which perform the functions of leaves. These are called as cladode. Cladode. See, leaves are just again the spines here. Okay, but the stems or the branches have converted into leaf-like structures which are called as cladode. You can see these structures are cladode. They are not leaves. So these are the aerial modifications. So today we have studied all about the stems, their functions and their different modifications. Their modifications are mainly for the propagation and storing food, protection and supporting them, and also performing photosynthesis when the conditions are unfavorable. Okay, thank you.